What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the results video for the mini continents AI only battle. I hope you've enjoyed this series. I will try and push it a little bit further, that's fine. We only had one disaster, where a Civ, we had a scenario that I always say will never happen, actually happened. So obviously I have to move some of the Civs, and there was a way to do it without declaring war on the Civs, but I forgot it, or it stopped working, or both. And I didn't do it this time, and I just attacked the Civs and moved them. It's all fine. But then one of those Civs. All the Civs are really good essentially now, and one of them came and killed my nuclear submarine. And I wasn't even paying attention, so we died. So that was annoying. But I put some mountains around it, and we survived a little bit longer. So that's fine. It's slightly beyond turn 250, just because I didn't stop it bang on time, and it was on auto end, so it just kept going by accident over a couple of turns. But that's okay. We will, like I said, we will try and keep going a little bit more. I don't know how far it will go, but judging from my experience trying to make this, we probably won't get another shot at the info addicts. It does crash a few times. I think it will open this time, because I've done it already and I haven't done anything else, so it should open. But I want to say with the score, this is the closest game ever. It came down to 1 point between the two Civs that won, and then there was also another tie, third and fourth. So probably the closest, most undecidable game we've ever had. So I'll quickly go over how the map looked at the end. We'll then go over the results, and then I'll have a little brief run through the info addicts as it stands, because we didn't do that at turn 225. So North America, pretty much the same. The Sioux is massive, but yes, Shoshone's still the same size. Korea obviously took out all of California. I think they'd nearly finished, but hadn't quite last time. Texas is clinging on. A bit more Sioux territory, sorry. The Aztecs then coming through Central America. Korea somehow got a city in the Caribbean, as is Brazil. And the Inca are still around for now, and here's Brazil looking pretty similar. We cross over the Congo, one of the big rises towards the end of the series. They just conquered everything here in West Africa in terms of like Mali. Songhai's gone, Benin is gone, Garamantes are gone, everyone's just gone, and it's just them and Spain now here. Egypt did grab a little bit of Carthage, as did Rome. Mercuria looks exactly the same, as does Ethiopia. Oh no, Ethiopia actually lost a city to Arabia, okay. And Rhodesia got through Burundi, but didn't do much else. So there we go. Let's head up to the north. Spain did obviously do very well in Western Europe. They finally got rid of England. France fell, of course. Rome got a little bit bigger, and they were struggling against Russia, but that seems to have ended. They did, I think, lose this city to the Huns, but that is it. Germany's looking the same. Russia, I think, has also not much has changed. Maybe they grabbed this off Mongolia, but nothing super new. Out here, I think everything is pretty similar. Actually, Korea obviously was doing very well when we checked in 25 turns ago, and it looks like that is still the case. I don't think there's anything too new here. Not that I would really remember. Maybe this area looks a little bit more solidified. India's maybe grabbed something. Australia's grabbed some, and Korea. They've kicked everyone else out. And yeah, here's Australia still with plenty of units. But you can see there's a lot of units all over the place, which is probably some of the cause for it not, loading as good as normal. But now we'll go into the top 10. Now, in terms of, is there any honourable mentions? Let me just check. Australia came pretty close. To be honest, 10th place was quite far away. Like, the other 9 were sort of, 9th place is double the points almost of 10th place. So there's quite a gap. So yeah, but I guess Australia just missed out. They came 11th on 22 points. Again, it's 10 points for winning an info addict, and then it counts down to 1, and then obviously 0 for 11th place. Some Civs do lose out. Those that are sort of around the 10th, 11th place in reality always sort of come last, because they just get 1 point every time, and then some Civs just win a random category and get 10 points. Now in this series, I will note the one Civ did very well in a lot of categories, scored a lot of 10 points, but the other Civ came second and got 9 every time. But then there was the Civ that came second at most of the time won a few, where the one that won the game didn't even finish in the top 10. So that is why it was so close, because they made huge jumps, and you'll find out which of those two won hypothetically and who they were, because it's not super obvious. You can see from the map there are some monstrous Civs out there, and I also think this game isn't done. I think it's still flowing. If you give it another 50 turns, we'd probably have completely different results. But yeah, 10th place then, moving on from Australia in 11th. Congo with 25 points. So yeah, they were that surprised me. I hadn't seen how big they were when I was doing the results. But yeah, they've really emerged here in West Africa. Finally boxed their way out of the corner. Proud of them. Sadly, we didn't really see much of this, so I can't really say too much. This was all sort of happening when we just skipped things, which kind of makes it more impressive. They're 10th now. Who knows where they will be in another 50 turns. So we'll move up to 9th, and we're actually moving just across to Rhodesia. Again, they didn't have a great game, but apparently it was enough to come 9th with 45 points. So there you go, not quite double, but 20 points more than the Congo. So quite a big jump. But yeah, I mean, they conquered Burundi, they filled their place, I don't know, they did their job, I guess, and that was enough for them, this time around at least. But like I said, I feel like the Congo will be stronger if they get better technology, more time, they're going to have more science now. The Congo would be the sort of civ that would overtake Rhodesia. I don't know how to explain it, but that's what I'm trying to say. Now, 4 points is the next jump, and we're just going to take a short trip over the Indian Ocean to India in 8th place, who again didn't do anything too special. They are actually going after this Arabian city. They've had this city in the Middle East, but yeah, nothing too special from India, to be honest. Just a really solid population management, I guess. 36, 20, 20, 18. They squeezed 13 out of here as well in the desert. Yeah, they've just done good on those sort of categories, I think, and that's obviously really contributed. Not many cities, probably a lot of science production stuff has helped them out a lot. So we'll jump up by another 4 points, so very close down here as well, actually. This is one category, essentially, making all the difference. And we're going to have to make quite a big jump here. I can't really scroll into it. I mean, I guess we could go all the way around, but it is the Aztecs all the way over here. 7th place, I think they could have done better, but there we go. I think the fact Brazil is still alive, and, maybe a hint there that someone else might be showing up. But, the Aztecs, one of 3 superpowers, I guess, in the Americas. Obviously, I guess Korea's here too. And the Shoshone weren't far off either. I mean, they're on 13, so they weren't great. But, if they'd have survived a bit longer, then maybe. But no. But yeah, I mean, the Aztecs were pretty good. But yeah, I mean, they're just bordering some really scary civs. Spain, the Sioux, and Brazil are all pretty big, as you can probably see. But there you go. They did okay. They had plenty of space, though. It was kind of a let-off game. This was what they were supposed to do. Now we're going to take quite a big jump, 21 points up to 6th place, which is Rome, which surprised me. Didn't surprise me. They've done well. I think a lot of people were happy to see them do well for once. But last time I looked, Russia was getting ready to chow down on them, and that obviously didn't happen. So yeah, Rome, pretty exciting. Obviously conquered Constantinople. Most of this is actually their own settling. Very few of the French cities, and that's about it really for conquering, but it was enough. We'll move up to 5th, another big jump, 16 points, and into the fairly prestigious top 5. And this is the civ, it was on 90 points, so about 16 ahead of Rome, and that is Brazil. Pretty good game from them. Little bit more impressive of a South America game, considering there was a giant river in the middle, and they crossed it and conquered the Inca. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy with Brazil to finish there. Again, it wasn't the hardest of places to be, but fair enough. They did what they had to do. Again, not much conquering. There's not been that much conquering in this game. And now we have 5 points ahead of Brazil. We have the 3rd, 4th place tie. Now this is pretty incredible, to be honest, but I mean, I wasn't paying too much attention when adding up, because the 1st and 2nd place were also 1 point apart for most of it, or a couple points, and it finished 1 point apart. So I don't know how to announce this, but in 3rd and 4th, shared, doesn't really matter, Russia and Spain. Now, Spain, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Look at them. I think they're another one who, give them time, they will probably be moving clear of Russia in the future, because I feel like Spain has more options. Russia was not a great civ at the start in this game. I'm very surprised, and the fact they've coexisted with the Huns as well to come in joint 3rd is very impressive. But yeah, they conquered some stuff up here, but they didn't do too much. But there you go. It was enough, apparently, to come joint 3rd and 4th. Now, that was 95 points. We're now going to take a bit of a jump, a 50-point jump to 2nd place on 145 and 1st place on 146. There's 2 left. I think we've probably covered all the big civs. I think you can probably imagine maybe who they are. So it is between the Sioux in North America and Korea. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest. From my eye, Korea is the biggest by a long way. They seem better. They have stuff in North America. They have all of Southeast Asia. They have Japan. They took out Mongolia. They're huge. Now, Korea did not win. They came 1 point. It wasn't good enough. They were winning every category early on, getting 10 points. The Sioux were obviously getting 9. It didn't matter how much Korea was winning it by. They only got 1 point each time. And like I said, there was some happiness. The Sioux is, I think, 1st or something like that, and Korea wasn't even on the list. So yeah, that kind of is a bit of a heartbreak. So the Sioux did win. I actually do need to check if there's any shout outs, so we'll go ahead and do that now. I'm never prepared enough for this. It's because I have to have too many tabs open. But it's all fine. We can just chat about rubbish. It doesn't take me too long to scroll back to episode 1. How long ago was episode 1? 1 month ago. 298 views. There we go. Thanks, guys. Appreciated. 28 comments. Okay, that shouldn't be too bad. I did not respond to any. I swear I responded to all of these comments. Okay, apparently I did not. I did to some, but YouTube does not tell me all of them sometimes, so sorry. Let me see. Did anyone pick the Sioux? Or I'll go ahead and shout out Korea's as well, just because you came so close. Someone saying that the Chinook. Oh no. Someone said the Shoshone would dominate the Sioux. Famous last words there. I did not respond to any of these apparently. I feel that's terrible. I swear I did. Well, I definitely apologise. I thought I did, but maybe I just got the wrong battle. Looks like nobody picked the Sioux. I'm just scrolling through it again. Korea and Shoshone. France was Snaxel, Paxel. You picked Korea. Combat Pillow said Korea could have a good game. You were pretty right there. I'm just looking. I picked America, didn't I? Dang it. Yeah, I don't think anyone else picked Korea. Oh no, that's Aztec. I'm just getting confused. Okay, that's it. I feel like those are comments. I feel like it's just showing me comments I have not seen. I feel like that is just the ones because I didn't respond to any of those. I feel like I responded to some other people's, but I don't know. They're not there for some reason. But there we go. That's okay. Now we will go and take a look at. I was going to say the one thing that matters, but what is that one thing, George? You nearly forgot it all. The actual info addicts. Now, here's the moment where, I mean, if you really wanted to, you could pause and make sure I haven't, like, miscounted, which probably happens, like, a couple of times. I'm going to be honest. It's not a high-tech process. It's actually pretty mind-numbing. Just writing. I started doing it on my phone, and that was even worse than doing it on paper. So hopefully it's not too bad, but here we go. It actually opened. Now, of course, we don't use all the statistics. There are some we don't use. I'll go over those, of course. But let's go population. So Korea leading the way. Then it was the Sioux, Russia, Brazil, the Aztecs, Egypt, India, Spain, Rhodesia, and Rome. And, of course, do feel free to pause and screenshot or whatever. Just, pause to have a read through. I won't read out the actual numbers, but I'll just read the list. Crop yield, again, Korea, then the Sioux, Spain, and you can see Korea's massive lead. Spain, Russia, Brazil, the Aztecs, Rome, Australia, Rhodesia, and Germany. Production, Korea, Spain, and the Sioux actually tied there. Rome, Russia, the Aztecs, Rhodesia, Brazil, Australia, and India. GMP, which we are now using instead of net gold. Korea, the Sioux, Brazil, Russia, Spain, Rome, Australia, Aztecs, Germany, and Rhodesia. I feel like Congo have missed out every time here. That's pretty harsh. Land area, Korea, the Sioux, Brazil, Spain, Australia, Congo, the Aztecs, Russia, Rhodesia, Rome. If that maybe looks a bit different to the map, bear in mind that I think it includes the sea. I'm 99% sure it just includes all tiles. Military manpower, that is actually really close between those top two. But Korea, the Sioux, Russia, Brazil, Rome, Germany, Spain. That is 3 Europeans in the top 7. That's pretty rare. The Aztecs, Huns, and Rhodesia. We don't use approval because happiness comes up later. We don't use literacy because technology comes up later. Social policies. The Sioux, India, Rome, Rhodesia, Brazil. Oh, here you go. The Sioux in first. This was the one, not happiness. I think Korea wasn't great on happiness either, but this was definitely the Sioux. You see it. They got 10 points this round. Korea down there in 10th scored 1. Rhodesia, Brazil, Russia, Spain, the Aztecs, the Huns, and Korea. Happiness, the Sioux again led the way with 171 happiness. Rhodesia, Brazil, Korea, Arabia, Ethiopia, the Aztecs, Shoshone, India, and the Huns. So all of that lead Korea built up in like the first 7 statistics was just wiped out. Now to technologies, Korea and Russia actually the only civs to have gone the whole way, and then there's a huge drop to Rome, Brazil, the Shoshone, the Sioux, Rhodesia, the Aztecs, India, and Germany, which is quite surprising. It doesn't look like that. I'm not using net gold anymore. There was enough to give everybody in the top 10 a point, and then everyone was on 0. But I thought we're not using it. Let's just leave it out. Maybe there's Korea. There's bias. I don't know. But I'm sorry, Korea. I think I want to be honest. Like my score system it's good when there's big gaps. On smaller gaps, it is unfair. So we just have to have a winner. I don't know. I think we'll have a look at the graph. I think the graph has Korea just recently overtaken the Sioux for score. So there you go. So either one, But yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter too much. Only one person picked Korea, and I still shouted them out, so it's all good. Holy moly, 42 cities for Korea. 26 for Spain, then it's the Sioux, Australia and Rome, Russia, the Aztecs, Congo, Brazil, and Rhodesia. Science output, Korea with twice as much. I don't know how Russia has finished the tech tree with Korea. It makes no sense at all. I guess Korea has a lot of cities slowing them down. But Russia, the Sioux, Rome, Spain, Brazil, the Aztecs, Rhodesia, Germany, and India. Culture, Korea again leading, then Spain, the Sioux, India, Brazil, Rome, the Aztecs, Huns, Russia, and Arabia. Wonders was used. I'm trying to remember. Some of these weren't used. Wonders, the Sioux, Russia, Korea, Spain, Rome, India, Rhodesia, Egypt, Brazil, and the Inca. Okay, treasury was not used because some spend their money, some have negative net gold. Yeah, we didn't use it. Okay, that's it. The Sioux won that one, Korea didn't. So there you go, that's a bit of equalizing. Total faith was again not used because some civs like the Sioux just have religious buildings and not a religion, so it's not necessarily fair to include them. I'm guessing anyway, since they have like the same as everyone else added together. That would make sense. Faith gain, though, we did use it, and you can see the Sioux did win that. Arabia, India, Congo, Ethiopia. Oh, I think this was the killer blow to Korea, actually. Ethiopia, Egypt, Mercuria, Brazil, Aztecs, Khazar. Yeah, Korea not even scoring a point, when a point would have been enough to tie. So there you go. Influence, Korea, Russia, the Sioux, Brazil, India, Spain, the Shoshone, Rome, the Huns, and the Aztec. Great Works was again used. Spain won that one. Then Korea, Congo, the Sioux, Germany, the Huns, Rhodesia, Rome, India, Brazil. There you go. I'm just trying to see if there's like one really close statistic that actually just, like did decide the 1 point, but I don't think so. We didn't use trade routes because, I mean, as you can see, that's a bit harsh. They're all on 8. I know there is some ties. Normally I just assume that it is showing you who got there first because it isn't in alphabetical order. So I'm hoping it's who got there first. But again, it could literally be something dumb like the leader's alphabetical first name, which is how the menu loads. So quite potentially. But there we go. Tourism, Korea winning quite heavily over the Sioux, Russia, Spain, Brazil, Rome, India, Congo, Aztecs, and Rhodesia. And here's the historical data. So yeah, there you see Sioux dominant from the start, but Korea really ramping it up and just taking the lead on score. So whoever you want to be your winner, doesn't matter too much. I don't know who this red... I think that red line is Spain and Russia, who obviously tied in our score for 3rd and 4th. And then Rome, Brazil, Rhodesia, and India. I'm going to guess it's a brighter green. I'm going to guess this is Australia. There's a light blue line here. I have no idea who that is, to be honest. There's no... Oh, it could have been Rhodesia, actually, as well, one of these greens. Yeah, Brazil, Rhodesia, and India. I don't know who this light blue is. Obviously, some of them can be quite random. Yeah, I literally have no idea of who's left, who's light blue. That could still be the Shoshone. I mean, as bad as they did, they weren't, like, terrible. They had good technology. I don't know, but we're not going to look too deep into this graph. Have a quick look at the religion, and we'll wrap this up. And yeah, I'll try and get like a couple more, 275, 300, and just show you what happens. But yeah, we won't be able to probably look at the info addicts again. So here we go. Most cities, Hinduism leading at 68. Oh, the Sioux did have a religion, never mind, but in 64. 41 for Poland's Catholicism, which is impressive because I think they were the first or one of the first civs to die. Songhai still with 23 from Zoroastrianism, 17 for Eastern Orthodoxy in Ethiopia, 13 Sikhism from Mercuria, and 4 from Islam from Arabia. But that will be it for this episode. So as always, if you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and a comment down below. Be sure to subscribe as well if you are new to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.